Picture this: a battlefield without weapons where words cut deeper than any blade. That's exactly what's unfolding right now between Karoline Leavitt, Trump's freshly minted White House press secretary, and the snarling pack of daytime divas on The View. From their cushy studio chairs, Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar are slinging mud faster than a tabloid press, tearing into Karoline's every move, from her role as a working mom to her meteoric rise in politics. They're not holding back. They've got their claws out, ready to shred her to pieces on live TV. But here's the thing. Karoline isn't some shrinking violet waiting to be devoured. She's a lioness in a suit, and she's got her own arsenal ready to fire back. Let's set the stage. Karoline Leavitt isn't just any political newbie. She's a 20-some powerhouse who's already run for Congress, crushed it as Trump's campaign spokesperson, and now stands as the voice of the most polarizing administration in modern history, a working mom with a 7-month-old. At home, she's juggling diaper changes and press briefings like it's nobody's business, but to The View, that's not enough. They don't see a trailblazer. They see a target, a young conservative woman daring to thrive in a man's world. Oh, that's a sin they can't forgive. So they've turned their daytime talk show into a firing squad, lobbing accusations and snide remarks faster than you can say ratings. Grab it all kicked off a few days ago when Whoopi decided to play dirty on air with a smirk that could curdle milk. She sneered into the camera and said, "Why is a mother of a 7-month-old even working?" Joy chimed in, giggling like a mean girl in high school, adding, "I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know, that's what it is." The studio audience laughed, but the jab wasn't just cheap. It was a calculated hit meant to reduce Karoline to nothing more than a face in a man's game. And if that wasn't enough, they even dragged Elon Musk into their circus, with Whoopi tossing out a wild conspiracy, asking, "Are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?" Yeah, you heard that right. Daytime TV just turned into a bad soap opera, and Karoline's the villain they're desperate to write off. But here's where it gets juicy. Karoline isn't about to let these bitter banshees define her story. She's not sitting in some dark corner wringing her hands over their insults. No, she's out there ready to flip the script and make them joke on their own words. The airwaves are buzzing, the internet's on fire, and the battle lines are drawn. The View thinks they've got the upper hand, hiding behind their studio lights and laugh tracks, but they don't know who they're messing with. Karoline's got a fire in her belly and a tongue sharp enough to cut through their nonsense like a hot knife through butter. This isn't just a catfight, it's a full-blown culture war playing out on screens. Across America on one side, you've got The View, the self-proclaimed queens of woke, clutching their pearls and preaching from their ivory tower. On the other, there's Karoline, a non-nonsense conservative who's not afraid to call out their hypocrisy and laugh in their faces while doing it. The stakes are high. The tension's thicker than a DC swamp, and the whole country is watching to see who land the knockout punch. And let me tell you, it's only getting started, because just when The View thought they'd scored a cheap point by mom-shaming Karoline on national TV, she was already gearing up to drop a truth bomb that would leave them scrambling for cover. What's coming next isn't just a response, it's a reckoning. Stick around, because you won't believe how this working mom turned the table and made the queens of daytime squirm in their seats. And so the stage was set for a showdown that had America glued to their screens. The View had just taken their first swing, landing low blow by mom-shaming Karoline Leavitt on national TV. They thought they'd scored a quick win, painting her as some neglectful mother who dared to chase a career over cuddling her 7-month-old. But if Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar thought they could shame Karoline into silence, they were dead wrong, because while they were busy cackling in their studio, Karoline was already sharpening her claws, ready to strike back with a vengeance over at The View's shiny set. The attack kicked off with a smugness, that array of hypocrisy. Whoopi leaned into the mic, her voice dripping with disdain, and said, "Why is a mother of a 7-month-old even working? Shouldn't she be at home with that baby?" The audience murmured, some nodding along, like Whoopi had just dropped a profound truth bomb. Joy Behar jumped in, piling on with a snicker. "Yeah, it's almost like she's abandoning her kid for the spotlight. I mean, come on, what kind of mom does that?" The jab wasn't just cruella, it was a deliberate attempt to paint Karoline as a failure in the one role society loves to judge women for: most motherhood never. Mind that these same women scream female empowerment every other day when it comes to a conservative mom like Karoline. Suddenly it's 1950 again and she's supposed to be baking cookies in an apron while the world moves on without her. But let's not pretend this was about genuine concern for Karoline's kid. This was a calculated hit meant to undermine her credibility before she could even open her mouth to defend self. The woke brigade didn't stop at mom shaming. They turned it into a full-on character assassination. Whoopi doubled down, tossing out a snide remark: "It's a bad choice for families, for children to be out there working like that. Instead of raising your kid, the hypocrisy was so thick you could choke on it." These are the same folks who'd lose their minds if a conservative dared to tell a liberal working mom to stay home. But for Karoline, different rules apply if she doesn't fit their mold. She's fair game for every low blow in the book, not just her arguments, not just her politics, but her very identity as a mother. The internet lit up faster than a wildfire. In July, on one side, you had the View fans eating it up, flooding Twitter with hashtags like "Bad Mom Karoline" and snarky comments about how she should put family. First, one user posted, "Karoline Leavitt's out here chasing power while her baby's probably crying for her sad." Another chimed in, "Whoopi's right, this ain't the 1950s, but it also ain't the time to ditch your kid for a White House gig." But on the other side, Karoline supporters fired back just as hard. A working mom tweeted, "I've got 3 kids. In a full-time job. Does Whoopi think I'm a bad mom too? Get out of here with that nonsense." Another wrote, "Karoline's killing it for her family and her country. The View's just jealous. They're stuck yelling into a void." The battle lines were drawn and the court of public opinion was split down the middle. Meanwhile, whispers started spreading that the View wasn't done. Yet they were just getting warmed up. They'd already thrown the mom-shaming grenade. But word on the street was they had more dirt to sling, and Karoline, she wasn't about to let this slide. She'd heard every word, seen every tweet, and she wasn't planning to sit pretty while they dragged her name through the mud. What's coming next isn't just a clapback, it's a full-on demolition. Stick around because this working mom's about to drop a truth bomb that'll make the View wish they'd never opened their mouths. While the internet raged, and the View basked in their cheap mom-shaming shots, Karoline Leavitt wasn't sweating it. She wasn't about to let Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar paint her as a heartless careerist abandoning her kid for fame. A few days after the vicious on-air attack, she stepped into a press briefing room, cameras flashing, mics hot, the press corps buzzing. She knew what was coming and she was ready to turn. The tables reporter from NBC didn't waste time diving into the drama. With a smirk, "Karoline, the View called you out for working while your son's just 7 months old. They said it's a bad choice for families. What do you say about being painted as a neglectful mom?" The room fell silent, every eye on her waiting for a stumble, but Karoline didn't flinch. She adjusted the mic, her face calm, eyes blazing. "Let me set the record great," she began, voice steady as steel. "I heard what those women on The View said, and I've got a few things to say." She leaned forward, gaze cutting through the room. "I'm a working mom and I'm proud of it. I've been a professional since college, and I respect moms who stay home full-time. But to suggest I'm a failure because I'm doing my job, that's not just nonsense, it's hypocrisy." The room stayed quiet, reporters scribbling fast. Karoline pressed on. "I'm doing this for my son, for all our kids, to make this country better. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Yeah, it's tough. I'd love to be with my boy 24/7, but I'm not abandoning him. I'm building his future." Her tone sharpened like a blade. "And let's talk about Whoopi's bad choice nonsense. If I were a liberal mom climbing the ladder, they'd call me a feminist icon. But because I'm a conservative working for Trump, I'm a danger to my child. Give me a break." The same crowd screaming "women can do it all" clutches their pearls when I balance work and motherhood. What's the rule here? Because it only seems to apply to women who don't fit their script. A few reporters shifted, caught off guard by her fire. This chaos of work. It's temporary. In 4 years, my son's 4 and I'll move on. But I'm not letting anyone shame me. Not The View. Not anyone. The The press room buzzed, murmurs rippling through. Within minutes. The clip hit the internet, racking up shares from working moms who felt seen. One tweeted, "Karoline spoke for every judge mom. The View can shove it." Another wrote, "Finally someone calling out their double standards," but not everyone clapped the views. Fans doubled down, accusing her of dodging, while whispers swirled that Whoopi and Joy had a nastier comeback brewing. Karoline didn't care. She knew this was just round one, and she was ready for more, because what's coming isn't just another jab. It's an escalation hang.